Do you want to give future generations a better world than the one you inherited? Hello, friends, colleagues, fellow soldiers, and veterans, and anyone concerned about the future of our country and our world. Of course, that should encompass pretty much everyone. Even if you're optimistic about the future, there is much about which to be concerned. I too have concerns, though also an incredible amount of faith in the future. And like many of you, I've been quietly trying to address concerns in my own little ways within my small sphere of influence. But the time has come to expand that sphere and begin to leverage my networks. And that means all of you and your networks. I want to ensure the world that we hand down to future generations is better than the world we inherited. Bluff. For my non military friends, that means bottom line up front. I'm on a mission to unleash the potential of every child in America by reinventing public education. Yeah, really. Now, I know many of you are wondering why I don't pursue something easier like world peace, climate change, poverty, or the divisiveness of society. Well, here's the thing. I'm pursuing all of those. I'm just playing the long game. Okay, hear me out. And here's what I can promise if you will put in a little more time watching and listening. Either you will decide that my quest is both essential and possible, or you'll be entertained by the sheer audacity of tilting at these windmills. That, by the way, is a reference to Don Quixote, for those not schooled in classic literature. Yeah, okay, boomer. Before I go any further, let me state very emphatically that I am a strong supporter of schools and teachers. They are not the problem. They are the victims to nearly the same degree as the students. The problem is the system in which those schools and teachers function. And in truth, I have shared these ideas and thoughts with hundreds of teachers who pretty much all agree. Many are very frustrated. They would love to see changes that allow them to focus on helping their students learn. You see, the thing about our current educational system, and in reality, I'm not just referring to public education. It's not just the countless challenges that we regularly hear about, but rather that our current system actually holds back nearly every child. The highest performing students in our schools are held back from pursuing their true potential by the educational model we currently have. So what does that say about those who are not performing well in our current system? And much more concerning is how our current model contributes to most of the challenges schools face, as well as many larger societal challenges. Let me say that again. And here's where you'll either start to agree or hopefully be entertained. The current school model, used by well over 95% of our communities, as well as most countries in the world, is a primary cause of the problems faced by schools. And that school model is one of the roots of many big challenges we face as a society. I know that's an incredibly bold statement, but I can back it up, and I've actually already done so. I wrote a book that came out last July of 2019. It's called No Power, No Responsibility. All right, and this is what the cover looks like. It just happened that about a year ago, about 6 months before the book came out, and while I was preparing to publish it, I was selected for a new Army Reserve position. And the demands of that position peaked just as the book was coming out. So I didn't do a book launch, I didn't do any marketing, and now I'm trying to make up for lost time. No Power, No Responsibility, my book, provides 26 reasons we must replace the current school model. Among these reasons are several explaining how the current school model contributes to many societal challenges, as well as most school challenges. Many of the reasons I provide in the book are nearing crisis stage, but few people associate those crises with our educational system, with the model, at least not directly. But so many of these challenges could be addressed if we would go through the process of reinventing our educational model. Our current educational model was developed in 1894. That's right, 126 years ago. And in many ways, it made sense at the time. Unfortunately, it has become institutionalized and so embedded in our society and most societies around the world that replacing the overall model is seen as nearly impossible. Instead, we have spent the last few decades trying to adapt that model to improve academic outcomes and close achievement gaps. However, we have drained every last ounce of potential out of the model, and we're now creating even greater challenges by continuing to use that model. It's as if we tried to adapt Henry Ford's Model T to meet all the modern day requirements for safety, emissions, comfort, travel, etc. We all know trying such a thing would be fruitless or astronomically expensive. Instead, we reinvent what a car is and how it is produced. So why haven't we done that with our schools? Because we're all waiting for someone else to do it first. Some of you watching this are educators, teachers, counselors, administrators, school board members, consultants, college professors, etc. Most of you watching this are not. Consequently, many of you, the non-educators, may agree, but think you don't have a role to play in addressing them. In reality, you non-educators have a bigger and more important role than the educators. Now, that doesn't mean you educators are off the hook. Far from it. You see, in over 30 years as a K-12 educator, including 12 years working for a state education agency, implementing programs and policies intended to improve education, I learned the most important lesson. If we want to unleash the potential of every child, the answer will not come from the federal government, the state government, or the local school board. The answer, the solution to eliminating achievement gaps, substantially improving learning of every child, eliminating school absences, bullying, and other bad behavior, and tapping the true potential of every child will come from within each community in our country. Time for an azimuth check. Sorry, that's another military colloquialism. Let's see how you're doing. Do you think our current school model helps most children to achieve their true potential? Do you think the current model helps almost any child reach their true potential? Now, could a group of people in a community, a diverse group who truly cares about the community and its children, with some guidance and assistance, could that group design a better school model than the one we have right now? Is that at least possible? I'm sure you all know my answers to those questions. I am absolutely certain any community could design a better model than we have now because they are the community. The current model was literally designed to be a one-size-fits-all, everyone gets the same thing regardless of who you are or your circumstances approach to education. A group from within a community will come up with something better because they know the community, and most importantly, because they have a huge stake in the outcome. That also means any community can start reinventing its school model anytime. The only thing stopping them is themselves. And communities throughout our country have collectively tens of thousands of groups currently striving to improve the current schools by adapting them. If just a few of those decide to stop trying to update the Model T and instead design and build a new vehicle from the ground up, that is, quit trying to adapt the 126-year-old model and design a new model for the 21st century and beyond, they could do so. Oh yeah, one other thing. This effort could begin with little to no funding, and the new model could easily be less expensive to operate than the current model. If not before, after that statement, many of you have your BS meters going crazy. You want to know, what's the catch? There is no catch, really. Well, okay. Maybe there is one small catch. Ah, I knew what you're thinking. The catch is that you have to find the will to pursue this and find others in your community who are willing to do the same. And then you have to trust yourselves. You have to accept that just because we've been doing something for 100 plus years doesn't mean we should keep doing it for the next 100. I know most of you would say, duh, to that last statement, but that is the biggest hurdle you need to overcome. The current model was good enough for me, and I turned out okay. I turned out fine, turned out awesome, I turned out spectacular. Why isn't it good enough for today's kids and those in the future? Truth be told, it may have been good enough for you and me and all the past generations, but it isn't even good enough anymore. Our world is already extremely dynamic and uncertain, and becoming more so. We can't afford to maintain the status quo where the learning, growth, and development of future generations is concerned. The shortcomings of our current school model have contributed to many of the challenges we currently face. We need to reinvent that model to unleash the individual and collective potential of the current and future generations of children. Nearly every person I talk to about this agrees. They just don't think there's a solution or that they have a way of contributing. I'm here to tell you there is a solution, and you all have a crucial role if you choose to accept it. And I've laid all of it out in my book. Aha! You're trying to sell books. That's the catch. Sort of, yes. But I didn't write the book to sell books. I wrote the book to lay out the way we can reinvent education. And now I want to get that into the hands of every person I possibly can. My intent is not to make money selling books. It's to help unleash the potential of every child by providing communities with a means of designing the school model that works best in that community. And while websites and apps and even a PDF of the same content could work, a book turned out to be the best way of laying everything out. That being said, no power, no responsibility. My book, I want to get this into people's hands. It's available as a hardcover, a softcover, an ebook, and an audiobook. It includes the 26 reasons we need to reinvent education. It also includes an example of what a reinvented model might look like. But there is no model that will work well for multiple communities because every community is unique. So the example is not what should the model look like, it's just what it could look like. I have several chapters providing responses to all the yeah, but reasons people raise for why this can't be done. And the final part of the book is a guide to doing this in any community. Now it's up to you. You don't have to buy the book. Instead, you could begin a conversation in your community about the idea of reinventing the education model. You could ask your library to get a copy or two of the book so it can be shared. You can share a copy with others who show an interest in this effort. And even if you don't start working on reinventing education in your community, the book will give you many insights about the challenges your local schools face and why they seem nearly impossible to address satisfactorily. I am committed to this mission of unleashing the potential of every child in America, and the means of doing so is reinventing education in every community in America. I hope you'll join this effort and share this video with others. You can find more information and resources at my website, KNOW That's KNOW responsibility.com. Thanks for watching.